Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a true automotive icon, the 1950 Volkswagen Beetle. This car is more than just a vehicle, it's a piece of history, a symbol of simplicity, and a machine that redefined practicality and affordability for generations. When people think of classic cars that left an imprint on culture, the Beetle is always one of the first that comes to mind, and for good reason. In this review, we'll be looking at its design from every angle, the interior details, how it performed in its era, its pricing back in the day, and why this car remains so special even decades later. Starting with the exterior, the 1950 Beetle has a design that's instantly recognizable. Its rounded silhouette, often referred to as the people's car shape, is simple yet charming. The front is marked by those classic round headlights, giving the Beetle a face-like personality that made it approachable and friendly to owners. The hood slopes down smoothly, and because the engine is in the back, the front actually serves as the luggage space. The chrome bumpers are small yet elegant, with a basic but functional style that reflected the car's purpose as a reliable everyday machine. From the side profile, the Beetle's curved roofline flows seamlessly from the front to the back, creating that distinctive bubble-like shape. The fenders are rounded and slightly flared, housing thin wheels that were designed more for efficiency than performance. You'll notice there's very little ornamentation or extra decoration, because this car was all about practicality and minimalism. Looking at the back, the real heart of the Beetle lies under the rear hood. The split rear window, often called the pretzel window, is one of the most iconic features of the early models. It gave the Beetle its unique rear character until the design was updated later. The rear lights are small and simple, and the overall design feels tight and purposeful, reflecting the engineering-first approach of Volkswagen in those years. Moving inside, the 1950 Beetle continues its theme of simplicity. The interior is very basic compared to modern cars, but at the time, it was exactly what people needed. The dashboard is minimal, featuring only the essential instruments like the speedometer and a few switches. There's no radio as standard, no luxury trim, just painted metal surfaces and simple knobs. The steering wheel is large and thin, designed to give the driver maximum leverage since the car doesn't have power steering. The seating is straightforward as well, with simple padding and fabric coverings. Comfort was modest, but the upright seating position gave drivers a good view of the road, which was especially useful for city driving. Space inside was surprisingly adequate given the car's compact exterior. 4 adults could fit, though long journeys were a bit of a squeeze. The small luggage compartment in the front added practicality, although storage was limited. Still, the Beetle's interior reflected the car's philosophy, less about luxury and more about function, making sure it served as a reliable and affordable family car. When we look at performance, the 1950 Volkswagen Beetle wasn't built to break speed records, but rather to deliver consistent, dependable driving. Under the rear hood sat an air-cooled, 4-cylinder, 1.1-liter engine producing around 25 horsepower. By modern standards, that may sound incredibly small, but in the 1950s, it was sufficient for everyday driving. The top speed hovered around 60 miles per hour, which was respectable at the time, especially for a car designed for the masses. What made the Beetle stand out was not its power but its engineering simplicity. The air-cooled engine meant fewer parts to maintain, and it was resistant to freezing in cold climates. The rear engine layout also provided good traction, especially on slippery roads. The 4-speed manual transmission gave drivers a direct connection with the car, and while it wasn't fast, it was economical and dependable. Fuel efficiency was one of its strongest points, with the Beetle managing excellent mileage compared to many other cars of its era. Suspension was designed with torsion bars, giving the Beetle a surprisingly smooth ride over rough roads, another reason why it gained so much popularity across different countries. In terms of pricing, the Beetle was exactly what it promised to be, the people's car. In 1950, the cost of a Volkswagen Beetle was relatively low compared to other vehicles, making it accessible to working-class families. It wasn't a luxury purchase, it was a practical investment. Its affordability, combined with low running costs and excellent fuel economy, meant it appealed to a wide audience. This is why the Beetle quickly spread far beyond Germany, finding homes in Europe, the United States, and eventually all over the world. Now, if we talk about suggestions for those considering the Beetle today, it's important to remember that owning a 1950 Volkswagen Beetle in the present day is more about appreciating classic car culture than expecting modern comforts. As a collector's item, the 1950 model, especially with the split rear window, is highly sought after. Enthusiasts should focus on finding a car with original parts and minimal rust, as restoration can be costly. For driving, the Beetle is enjoyable if you embrace its charm and understand its limitations. It's not a highway cruiser by today's standards, but for city driving, weekend outings, and vintage car shows, it's a wonderful companion. If you want a car that sparks conversation and brings smiles wherever you go, the Beetle is hard to beat. Maintenance is generally straightforward because of the car's simple design, and parts are still available through various classic car networks, making it a manageable project for enthusiasts. As we wrap up, the 1950 Volkswagen Beetle represents more than just a mode of transportation. It's a cultural icon that symbolizes affordability, reliability, and timeless design. Its rounded exterior, minimal interior, efficient performance, and low price tag made it the car of the people, fulfilling its mission perfectly. Even today, more than 7 decades later, the Beetle continues to capture hearts worldwide, proving that sometimes the simplest ideas create the most lasting impact. Whether you're a collector, a fan of automotive history, or just someone who appreciates classic design, the Beetle deserves respect as one of the most influential cars ever built. Thank you for joining me in this detailed review of the 1950 Volkswagen Beetle. If you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive history, make sure to like the video, share it with other car enthusiasts, and subscribe to stay updated on more classic car reviews. The Beetle may not be the fastest or the most luxurious, but it remains one of the most loved cars in the world, and that alone makes it unforgettable.